Thank you much, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Gottmeier, the New START treaty is expiring. What effect do you think it'll have on our allies in Europe and the Indo-Pacific?
Our allies in Europe and the Indo-Pacific are concerned about extended nuclear deterrence. And extended nuclear deterrence is part of the predictability I was talking about at the outset, that the more predictability we have with regard to our opponents, that bolsters also their confidence in the status of the nuclear threats that may come their way in Asia and in Europe. So it's true that the New START treaty does address strategic nuclear force posture, but maintaining some limitations that are in a way of extending that predictability are, I would say, helpful to our allies overall in their period now of grappling with questions about the legitimacy and potential of U.S. extended nuclear deterrence going forward. Many questions, many debates going on in this regard, but I do think that the continuation of the New START treaty limits would play a role in bolstering their shaking confidence at this difficult period.
There is a danger, I think, and your comment would be helpful, that once this treaty sort of disappears, all treaties disappear, and the concept of trying to negotiate agreements becomes something, a relic of the past. And we're left now with just simply deterrence through kinetic means. Is that something that bothers you?
As I said, sir, I think that deterrence and negotiated restraint both play a role. And in fact, they are woven together. If you have good arms control treaties, and I must say, I do want to emphasize that we do know what to do next when a treaty is violated. We call the Russians out on it, and we tell them, you have violated this treaty. And in the case of the INF treaty, we withdrew from the treaty after trying to get them back into compliance. And we also conveyed to them very clearly that NATO would take countermeasures, including the deployment of conventional missiles in Europe, which is beginning to unfold now. And so we do make responses to violations, and we do so in a way, and this is another point, at the negotiating table, you look the other guy in the eye and you tell him, we've got your number. We know what you're up to. This is an important role for negotiated diplomacy in this realm as well.
And there's another aspect of these treaties, that's the whole verification mechanism.
Right.
Which is important to keep everybody on the straight and narrow, we hope. Admiral Richards, is there a simple sort of arithmetic that without arms control treaties, we need more deterrent forces, which increases the budget we have to deal with?
Senator, I would offer that we're already in an environment where we need additional forces, that independent of the treaty, Russia has been very successful at adding capability that is not covered by the treaty. Mr. Morrison just mentioned the 45% versus the 92%. China is completely unconstrained. So yes, is there a value to the verification mechanisms in terms of reducing what you might consider error bars around your intelligence community's assessment of your opponent's capability? Yes, but that is very minor in comparison to where they are unconstrained and have no limits on their ability to improve or increase their forces.
Just a quick response. The presumption, I think, with China is that they will not seriously begin to negotiate until they've reached parity with the United States or Russia. Do you agree?
Senator, first on China, I had a rule with my intelligence folks back at Stratcom that whatever the intelligence community tells you about China in terms of numbers, double it or triple it, and you will probably be closer to where we're actually going to wind up. In terms of time, divide by 2, maybe by 3, and you'll actually wind up being closer. And in my 4 years since retiring, that rule of thumb seems to have held. So yes, I think that's the way to approach that.
Just a final point. We've seen a lot of agitation between this administration and many of our allies. And there is renewed interest, I think, in many countries, particularly in Europe, Japan, South Korea, in having their own nuclear deterrent systems. Quickly, Ambassador Gottmoller, are you concerned about proliferation right now because of the posture that we've taken?
I'm very concerned about the potential for proliferation, so-called friendly proliferation. I do not think will be helpful to stability and security going forward.
Right. And Mr. Morrison, forgive me, but just a quick, are you also concerned about proliferation?
Yes, sir. I don't think you can understate the risk of proliferation.
Yeah. Admiral, yea or nay?
Senator, I am, but it's for a different reason. I will defer to my distinguished colleagues to my left on policy and diplomatic issues. But from an operational standpoint, in my conversations with the allies, the issue was less about treaties, and it was more about capability and will. And we have recently demonstrated will. I think we've made positive movement in that direction. But it's the capabilities we have or don't have that is of a much bigger concern to our allies in terms of our ability to honor our extended deterrence commitments.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Senator Reid. On behalf of the chairman, I think I'm up next.